Well, hello, class. I am sorry for the delay in getting this particular week up. Unfortunately, I have been locked out of my password for a day or so. Every 120 days, they want you to change it. And if you're not on campus, you don't see the notice that it's about ready to change. Anyway, it's all fixed, so no worries on time restraints or anything. As you guys know, I've been pretty lenient with that. This particular week is really an interesting week. And why I am saying that is that it has to do a lot with developing employees. And as we all know, developing employees is one of the most important things that we do as leaders, as managers. And I think that one of the biggest obstacles that leaders face and managers who are um, have legitimate power on the organizational grid is that managers and leaders who have legitimate power or influential power will face a lot of obstacles when it comes to organizational change. And the reason why I want to make a big deal out of that is that change is such an inevitable thing, number one. And number two, adapting to change sometimes can be the most difficult thing to do. And part of the problem on adapting to change is that a lot of employees do not like to come out of their comfort zones. They don't like to um, manifest some type of change in their routine and their schedule because being used to doing something a certain way provides comfort, but also it's automatic. But the reality of the situation is that the external environment will always continue to change. And employees, as well as managers, both technologically, by skill set, and by culture, have to be able to adapt to change. Many companies face this inevitably lasted a long time because they could adapt to change and they were able to meet their competition. Apple is one good example of that. So the other thing that we're going to talk about in this particular week is we're going to talk about performance issues in the workplace, both internal and external. Do we do enough of a SWOT analysis on our organization to know how internally, in our internal environment, we're able to turn weaknesses into strengths? And in our external environment, how can we turn threats into opportunities to be able to meet our competition? And the other thing that we're going to discuss is how do we develop employees so that they're able to understand in managerial roles how to be able to confront performance issues. A lot of times, employees are trying their very hardest, but they don't understand the protocol clearly. They might have the skill set or they might not. But regardless of where the problem lies, we have to be able to help develop them to their potential. After all, we hired them and we made an investment. So just like when you put money in a bank, how do you maximize that investment? And we're going to talk a lot about performance evaluations. That's important. Performance evaluations often are predicated on the amount of feedback that we get on how employees are doing. So this is going to involve chapters 11 and 12. And next week, we're going to be wrapping up the course, believe it or not. We're going to kind of go over the theories of leadership. We're going to review them. And then we're going to talk about some of your leadership traits. You might start wanting to think about that now. What makes you an effective leader? Um, are you one that is more extroverted or more introverted? I remember probably back in some of your earlier courses, you did your Myers-Briggs and you know just where you were on the organizational grid, what type of a person you were on performance, you know. Were you extroverted? Were you introverted? Were you a deep thinker? Were you not? Were you more analytical? Were you more creative? And that type of thing. But a lot of these things feed into leadership traits. Okay, so what type of a leader are you? So you start thinking about that now and maybe model after some of the leaders that you have been associated with. So, being a leader, does it come naturally or is it something that can be taught? This is a question that's been going on forever. Are leaders born or are leaders made? Or is it a combination of both? Is there an environment that brings out the leader? Or does somebody make an assertive choice to become a leader? So all of these concepts will feed into your final paper. So at any rate, that's kind of my spiel for this particular week. And anything that needs to be corrected out there, going back from the previous week, including the DQs, I will correct. And you've got DQ for this week 1 and 2. And for this particular week, DQ 1 and DQ 2, I'm going to give you maybe a day or two more because it took me a little longer to get on here. So no worries. I'm more interested in quality than quantity, but try to keep at the same time within the time restraints. That's it. Have a pleasant week, Professor DeChico. And by the way, you guys know you can always contact me, 617-842-2856. Thank you.